Meeple is superior. Cool, it worked.
What are you doing?
I'm helping. I'm helping with the intro. Now get in the box.
Why is there... What intro?
Smuggling Muggles.
Smuggling Oh. No, it's not smuggling muggles. It's Smuggles and Snuggles. It has nothing to do with muggles.
Okay.
It's about bears.
Oh! Verificus Totalis! Haha!
This is comfy. In the game of Smuggles and Snuggles, you are playing as either the city bears or the country bears, and the object of the game is to cover your opponent's back row with 3 of your bears. Once you're able to do that, you have won the game. So, you will decide who will be the city bears or the country bears, and you will shuffle those up. I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll set out the grid as to how you play. So when you set up, you're going to place out 4 cards face down in this pattern. 3 in your back row, and then 1 to the rightmost of where you're sitting. You're going to sit directly across from each other. So this is how mine is. Then you're going to leave, of course, these 2 spaces to the left, 3 spaces in the middle empty, and then your opponent will have theirs directly opposite of yours. Both players will then have 4 cards left over, and you're going to place these face up onto each of your cards there. So let me do the city bears here. Whoops. So once you have everything set up here, you will look at the card in the one that's sticking out here, and you will compare that with your opponents. Whoever has the lower number is the one that's going to go ahead and go first. If there is a tie, you will swap the pile is directly behind it, the entire pile, both you and your opponent will, and then you will see who has the lower number. If there is still a tie, you just shuffle everything back up and redistribute and try again to see who's going to go first. So in this case, we have the country bears, and they're going to be the first player. Now the first player only gets 1 move. After that, every player gets to move 2 separate bears. So let's just say on this first move, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move, let's just say I'm going to move my number 2, and I'm going to move my number 2 up to this slot right there. Actually, let me scoot these back just a hair so that we have room for that row in there. Whenever you uncover a bear, you go ahead and you flip it over immediately, so that you can see what was beneath it. So, because the country bears were only able to take 1 turn, their turn is now done. So now we're going to move on to the city bears. Let me adjust slightly, just so you can see everybody's numbers. So, in Smuggles and Snuggles, you can smuggle and you can snuggle. So I can explain smuggling right now. When you smuggle, smaller bears can be smuggled via larger bears. So, for example, if the city bear player wanted to take this number 5, they could go on to their number 7, and because the 5 is smaller than 7, they get another movement. So they could move right here, bam. And then if they wanted to, their number 6 out here, well, that one would flip over immediately. Oh, actually, that's a better move. Let's go ahead and do the 4 instead. So the 4 can move on to the 7, free move, onto the 5, and then they can take a free move and they can go right over here to this slot right there. Now, they didn't have to move to the 5. They could have moved from the 7 directly to there, but I was just giving you an example of how smuggling works. So that would be their turn, and let's see what we can do here. Well, let's go ahead and move. We're going to move number 4 up here, and we're going to reveal. Ooh, our biggest card there, so our number 8. And let's go ahead and we're going to smuggle number 1 through number 2, and that's going to go right up there. So now let's talk about the snuggling part of this game. So with snuggling, you can move onto a rival bear, but your bear must be a higher value or equal to the bear you're moving onto, and then you're going to snuggle it. You're going to hold on to it, and then it can't move. So in this example, let's just say here, we're going to have the city bear's number 5. He's going to go ahead and snuggle the number 4 right there. And then this 4 could move onto this 2 or this 1, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and we're going to put this number 8 over that 1 and reveal the number 2 there. So now the city bears have a good advantage over what's going on the board here. So let's see if we can work through this, and I'll probably fast forward this and we'll see how it looks at the end of a round. So now with what I have here, it is now the city bears' turn, and the city bears have a scoring opportunity. They actually have 2 scoring opportunities. They're going to go ahead, or yes, they have 2. No, they only have 1 scoring opportunity. So now with what we have here, we have the city bears have a scoring opportunity. So they're going to take their 5 here, and they're going to put that in the back row, and that's going to flip over, and that's going to lock that space out for the remainder of the game. And let's see if they can do anything else here. Oh, they do have another scoring opportunity. So they're going to take their 1 through their 7, through their 8, through their 3, and score right there. So the city bears now have 2-0. So let's see what the city bears can do. The city bears can also score twice. They are going to go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So let's see what the city bears can do. The city bears can go. So the city bears can go. Yeah. They can do that, and they could do that, which means the country bears would have to move this one here and this one here, because they have to make 2 moves. So then that, and then through there, and the city bears have 1. So that is just a basic game. The game plays very, very quickly. There are also these law cards that you can mix into the game. So you will go ahead and either shuffle these up or choose one of these. You can do it random or do it however. And these will just add in an extra little rule to the game. So if you look on the rules here, this goes into like the center space, so where our Baroness is. It would go on there and it would give a caveat to that space. So this pile can only be snuggled by bears ranked equal or lower. So it would actually be an opposite way. Or they have the impossible dog, and this pile must be used to smuggle dogs higher numbered cards instead of lowered. Cuddle Puddle. Snuggling in this pile lets you move 1 extra card this turn. This pile can always be snuggled by any card. So that gives you a variety of stuff. There's a couple of those that you can throw into the game. But that is Smuggles and Snuggles.
Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Pull up a chair at punchboardmedia.com.
So again, that was Smuggles and Snuggles. This is a fantastic, compact game, so something that, as I usually say, you can just throw right into your game bag and play in between games. This could even be even used to determine first player in maybe a larger game, because it plays so quickly. But yet there's a lot of strategy in it, trying to figure out, okay, if I move this one here, I move this one here, I'll be able to see what's underneath this card, and you're just trying to work through it. But you can usually get into a game in under 10 minutes, and then it usually ends up being, okay, one more time, I get it now, let's go ahead and try it again. So that is really, really cool. The artwork on this is very, very charming. It reminds me of like Saturday morning cartoons, and it's really cool. The puns that are on there, all the different cards have different names to them, and the puns are on par. They are very, very funny, and it just brings a little bit of a flavor to the game that is absolutely fantastic. So this is something that I recommend. I really enjoy playing, and it's something that's going to remain on my small game shelf, so we can just pull it out anytime we want to play something just, quick and easy. Don't have to really worry about a lot of complex rules or anything like that. This is something that is very, very cool. And also great for kids to teach them like strategy and that kind of stuff. So you can kind of like help them through, and it's like, well, maybe you should, try out this and see if they can kind of learn that like logical reasoning and try to best you in that. But if this looks like something that you and your family would enjoy, or you and your group would enjoy, down below I'm going to have a link for their Kickstarter, so you can definitely check that out. And as always, please do not forget to help support Cloak and Meeple. You can go over to geekygoodies.com/cloakandmeeple to buy one of the new Cloak and Meeple shirts with the big logo, not this old school one. You can also go to Patreon or Pod Pledge to help pledge your support there. I would greatly appreciate a monthly donation there. Or you can always support definitely by clicking that subscribe button, clicking that bell, so that way you know whenever there's a brand new video of a new preview, review, or something else that I'm putting out on this channel. And again, as always, thank you for watching.